ברוכים הבאים, welcome to כולל ברוך אהבת ישראל, בעזרת השם, פרשת ויקהל. And you know, פרשת ויקהל, usually, בדרך כלל, always read with ויקהל פקודי, right? Together. But because it's a leap year, it's by itself, okay? So, בעזרת השם, just so you know, today is only ויקהל, because we have אדר א' אדר ב'. But as usual, בקודש, השיעור, אנחנו רוצים להקדיש את השיעור ולברך הרבה אנשים בעזרת השם. We want to dedicate this class to many people in בעזרת השם that needs some refuah, some help, and of course, most important, people that always go with Hashem. So I want to say, first and foremost, I want to thank the partners in Torah Foundation for sponsoring our class and for משפחת ניר, חג'אג' for their mother, לעילוי נשמת הצדקת מרת אלן בת פורטונה, משפחת חג'אג', and we also לעילוי נשמת אלן בת פורטונה, משפחת אלמוג, משפחת אגוזי, לעילוי נשמת הוריי ואחיי, לולו רותם בת משה, שימחה בן יעקב, מרדכי הרב, מרדכי עוזר יוסף, בן הרב שלום, זכרון צדיק לברכה, and all the soldiers and the citizens that fell in Hashem, ייקום דמם בעזרת השם. We also want to dedicate the class to רפואה שלמה, to all the soldiers and all the kidnapped people. Hashem will release them and guard our soldiers, and רפואה שלמה, to פלורי בת רחל, מרים בת זוהר, ענת בת עזיזה, רביטל בת רחל, ברוך חי בן חיה מרים, זהבית בת טובה, קרן בת אליסה, אסף בן רחל, סימונה בת יצחק, בן-שושן, בעזרת השם, הקדוש ברוך הוא ירפא אותו, ויחזיר אותו לאיתנו, בת-שבע בת עזיזה, אליעזר בן-הרוש, נועד להט בן ביתי, וכל החיילים והפצועים, רפואה שלמה בעזרת השם. Also רפואה שלמה to ידידיה, בעזרת השם, and הצלחה to אדון יוסי לוי בעזרת השם. God bless you and your child and your wife, and everything will be successful בעזרת השם moving forward. And again, we want to say also to all of you for being here. You are the blood and soul of the kowel here, Baruch Hashem. We really appreciate it. Again, anybody wants to add any name for refuah or askara? Nisim ben Zahava. Oh, and Nisan ben Mordechai ben Nisan, זכרון לברכה, שמואל.
יצחק בן מנשה.
Huh?
No,
No, this for also לעילוי נשמת, so I don't forget. רפואה was, yes. Yes, רפואה שלמה, see. יצחק בן שירה.
לעילוי נשמת.
לעילוי נשמת. יצחק בן מנשה. סימה בת דוד בעזרת השם. לעילוי נשמת אביך.
לא, לרפואת רומן בן מייקל. רומן בן מייקל. וסטיב בן סטפן. לעילוי נשמת אבא, יואל אגוזי בן מור יוסף.
אמן, יואל אגוזי בן מור יוסף. אגוזי הצדיק בעזרת השם. אוקיי, פרשת ויקהל. So we know ויקהל is, just so you know, the whole ויקהל, in a sense, happens in very few short time. It's not a whole year or 2 years and whatnot. Parashat Vayakehel is literally from the Yud Aleph Betishrei. You know, Moshe Rabbeinu, as we know, came out after 120 days. Nahon, he went to Shamayim to receive the Torah. And of course, on Yud Aleph and Tishrei, he came down and he says that Hashem, because it was after the golden calf.
Right.
Hashem says, I forgive you because of what you said. Now, Hashem wanted to destroy everybody, kill everybody.
When it
started anew with Moshe.
Right.
So Moshe had a claim. He said, listen, you know, you took us out to kill. The Egyptians said, what? Da. Hashem said, I'll tell you what, okay, I will not kill everybody. I will kill the heads of the people, which is the heir of Rav,
right.
3,000 of them. But the Zohar Kadosh says that every tribe, kol shevet haya lo egel, zahav. Why? It says, Ze Elohecha Israel. Now, Ze in Gematria is 12, the 12 tribes, and the heir of Rav. So there are 13 golden calf.
Where it says that it was 13?
In the Zohar.
Oh, the Zohar.
Yes. The Zohar Kadosh, you know, revealed to us secret that we can really understand the Torah. So it starts on Yud Aleph Betishrei. Moshe also says to them, listen, now Hashem gonna build the Mishkan. He wants to build the Mishkan. The Mishkan was the atonement for the golden calf.
Right.
Because, originally, במקור, בני ישראל הגיעו לרמה כל כך גבוהה, שלא צריך משכן. The people of Israel, originally, when they got the 10 Commandments, they reached the highest level of Adam HaRishon before the sin. So Hashem said, "V'shachanti betochem, I will reside in you."
Right.
But because they were participating in the golden calf,
The
Shechina left. And Hashem says, now I have to bring a home, בתחתונים, I have to bring my home into your midst, but not into you, into your area, so to speak. And Moshe Rabbeinu says on the Yud-Bet Tishrei, this is, by the way, the second year of the coming out of Egypt, the year 2449, okay? In the second year, they built the Mishkan. And Hashem says, בני ישראל תרמו את הנדרש למשכן. He says, ויקהל משה. Moshe gathered כל עדת בני ישראל. By the way, every time you say kol in Hebrew, kol adat, when it comes to the people of Israel, is only the people of Israel. Kol in Gematria is 50. נכון? Chaf and Lamed, 50. Adat Bnei Israel is the people of Israel, not the Arab Raf. And he said, if you take the 12 tribes, right? There is exactly 50 letters in them. Kol, Adat Bnei Israel. Take only the people of Israel. Kol, Kaf Lamed, the 50. כף למד, כן, כף זה 20, לא, כף זה 20, י' זה 10, נכון, לא, זה בסדר, אני הרבה טועה, בסדר, אומרים שבאמת, למה? He says, אלה הדברים אשר ציווה אדוני, לעשות אותם, now, he just told them about the Mishkan, we're about to talk about that, and then he stops, and Hashem says here, says, ששת ימים תעשה מלאכה, 6 days you can work, and the 7th day, ביום השביעי יהיה לכם שבת שבתון, Kodesh, you have to keep Shabbat. La'adonai, because the Shabbat is the most important la'adonai.
Put a note for Mr. Shemesh.
Mr. Shemesh, refuah shlema, I want you to know.
We miss you.
We miss you, Mr. Shemesh. The light is here, but not as big as you when you're here. So, they says, Hashem, before you even build my home, Hashem says, I want you to know you have to keep Shabbat. Why? Because there's certain things you can do in the Mishkan on Shabbat, but not in your home. Mr. Shemesh always asks, can you drive on Shabbat? נכון?
Yes.
He says, לא תבערו אש בכל מושבותיכם ביום השבת. How many moshavim we have in the car?
Depend on what car.
Moshav, in Hebrew, is a seat in the car also. But it's also a village, your town.
Yeah, you're
right?
You are.
So Hashem says, listen, you have to keep Shabbat.
Right.
Don't worry about the Mishkan now. Even though I want you to build me a home, but it's more important for me to keep Shabbat. The Torah says something amazing. Mr. Shmuel is very good with the vowels, נכון? He's aluf bevowlim. The Torah says, lo te'aseh melacha. Te'aseh, not you doing.
That
right?
will be done.
Now be done. First, Hashem gives you, every week, he gives you what you deserve. When you don't have something, he wants you to get close to him. That's it. Right? He says, Te'aseh. Everything that's happened is from me. But even on Shabbat, don't let your goy work on Shabbat. Don't let your animals work on Shabbat. Right? And he says,
But I thought go, you're allowed. Go,
only on a contract that you do before. There's a lot of halachot. Beautiful, beautiful. There's how to deal with your employees. You have a company. You cannot tell them to work on Shabbat.
I had work done in my house.
Yeah, it's good. But also you can have them, but there's a deal that you can do a contract before
Shabbat.
Yeah, and you don't have to you don't tell them anything.
So they can work in Shabbat?
Yes, they can, but under condition of a contract. I'm sorry, Bechavot.
If you work inside the house, you move out and let them work. It's there.
Yeah, if it's better, like let's say you take your car to a garage and they work on Shabbat. It's okay. It's not your fault.
But but it's different because if you have if you have workers that work for you on Shabbat, by the end of the day, you are making the money on Shabbat.
So no. Here's the thing.
Who is the worker? Who is bringing the money to it?
It's okay, God. I'll explain to you. You're right, but in a sense.
In my case, they were working. I was paying them.
I know, I'm paying my employee too.
But you don't tell them, listen,
Shabbat.
You're not telling them,
I'm not telling them to work on Shabbat.
God, you're not allowed to say work on Shabbat. You're not allowed to tell them that.
Okay.
Say, I'm paying you for your job. That's it. Whatever
But-
you do, it's up to you.
But what I don't understand, okay, they work on Shabbat and they make the money for you, so you make
But they make the money for them too, right? They get
right, but by
paid.
the end of the day they get part and you
Yeah,
get part.
that's okay,
How
but
can-
you don't.
Okay.
How you can make
That-
money on Shabbat?
No, so that's the thing. You have to have a contract different on the Shabbat that they make
Okay.
for them. Do you understand?
When I had my contracting thing, I set the price for the job,
Mhm.
and I don't show up at shop. That's all.
That's it. This is called,
They
yeah.
do the rest of the shop and they do whatever they're going.
You know,
I know, but they work for you by the end of the day. You
God.
make the money out of it.
Gal, it doesn't matter. Gal.
Okay,
If you
that's
tell them to work on
I don't
Shabbat,
tell them to work on
if
Shabbat.
you tell them, it's a problem. If you say the contract on the weekdays and don't mention the Shabbat, nothing.
Do whatever
They
you
do.
want.
That's it.
I
Okay.
have a question.
They
Yes.
don't work on Shabbat, my guys. But in
No,
general,
it's good if you keep. That's the
they don't
best.
work on
Yeah.
Shabbat.
If in a shiur on Shabbat,
Yeah.
air conditioner is not working,
Yes.
can you get somebody to lower the air?
No,
No,
no. So that's the
no.
thing. You know, there is. It's very interesting. There's a machloket. You know, what's a machloket. Some say this, some say that. There is some in the Ashkenaz world that's poskim said you can hint to a goy.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
it's too hot here.
Yes.
But don't say to turn on the air.
Yes.
So it's not direct.
It's not there. But even that not allowed. But the
Like my
Sephardi.
mother used to say, Saturday is right.
Yeah. So you know the
Something
thing is.
missing here.
לא, אתה צריך להגיד לו, אתה מביא אותו, תגיד לו.
Yeah. So listen. You know, usually in shuls, they know everything way before. They know how much temperature, how many people like, what the old people like. Everything is set already. You know, a real shul, they have the goy of Shabbat is
Yeah,
better.
but if
The goy of
ours-
Shabbat knows more halachot than the people that go.
Emergency.
באמת.
If the air conditioner is not working,
Yeah. So
emergency, so you cannot
No.
ask somebody
So,
from
listen.
outside.
you don't ask anybody. No,
You-
not allowed.
I want to share. It happened to me one time in Westlake.
Yeah.
When I started, we came in the morning and Shabbos, and it's not
Shabbat?
light work.
Shabbat, כן,
On
okay.
Shabbat.
Hashem digel Shabbos.
And
Hashem
then me
digel
and Rabbi
Shabbat.
Meni, we don't know what to do. He said, let's try to find somebody. So I find somebody, but I didn't realize when I bring him, I don't need to tell him turn this. I should tell him, oh, we don't have the light here. You need to figure it out by himself and then turn it on.
Yes.
And I didn't know. So I told him, and then he
so
told me, no, you're not supposed to.
You're
do
not
this way."
supposed to.
But I
yes.
didn't know.
Yeah, but they should
But
go.
it
You
happened
don't.
to me.
Yeah. It's okay. So
It
Bezat
happened to
Hashem,
me.
that's what we learn.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Friday
halachot.
Friday night, I have a big leak in the house. So the guy that came to fix it, he's Persian, but he's not Jewish. I don't know what he may be Muslim. So I didn't want to tell him so we don't start arguing. But
Yeah, no,
I
no.
said, do me a favor, don't come Friday. I told him I'm with my wife here. I want to spend time. He wanted to come Friday night and work, and I told him not to.
Yeah.
Without explaining.
So just so you know, there's in a Gemara story, a big rabbi who was so poor, and his whole house started getting on fire. But everybody liked him, so they sent the fire department. And I wasn't talking to you, you know, so with buckets and donkeys, you know, not like today.
Yes.
And the rabbi says, "What are you doing?" He says, "Your house is on fire." He says, "Leave it. Asur, you're not allowed to Shabbat."
How about if somebody
But
do
it's
that?
not
The
because
moment he
next-
said, nobody in the house. He said, let's burn it. This is what Hashem wants.
But the
The
Torah
moment
books
he
and
said
all
that,
this-
listen.
Okay.
This is a story in the Gemara. It's not
Okay,
the.
I'm listening.
I'll answer you the other
Oh,
question.
No, I agree with
So
that.
the rabbi,
So
the rabbi stopped. I mean, stopped say that. The moment he stops, all of a sudden, it was a summer day.
Cloud.
Rain came and put out the fire.
Oh my God.
Okay. Now I know a story in New York. This is from a rabbi that teaches me. Okay. Once, I don't know if you remember, there was he heard it from his rabbi, and they know the family. You know, there was a very tough time in America in the 40s, 50s. You know, and needless to say, back then even America did not like Jews. You know, the Kennedys and Ford and all the government, they hated Jews. They were the Nazis of America. So one family who has 6 kids, a rabbi, was so poor, he asked the building, he was cleaning, he says, "Can we stay here? Because, you know, you have a little heater down in the, you know, like almost 3 floors down. They have all the heaters for the building. You know, but New York is all the building connected with heating from one source. You know, in the old days, they build
They have steam.
steam coming the whole, in the original, the heating up of the whole city is from one location. This pipe is going through every building, until today.
Yeah.
So he asked, he said, "Can we live here?" And they used to, you know, on the weekdays, they put all the pecham into it. They put all the coal to keep the whole city. And in time, they got so black, you know. like, very black. And one of the kids got so sick. So the father on Shabbat had to have a doctor. So he went up to the street and he said, doctor. A Jewish doctor stops and says, what can I help you? He said, my son is very sick. He said, okay, let me take care of him. So he took care of him, gave him some medicine. And the doctor says, you need to pay me. He said, listen, I cannot pay you, but I'll give you my check. I'm allowed to do 2 letters. That's it. I'll put my initials. You're not allowed to write on Shabbat except 1 or 2 in emergency.
Are you allowed to write 2 letters?
I say here, I signed 2 letters. You take whatever you want. I don't know. I cannot discuss with you how much. It is on Shabbat. This Jew was so enamored with this tzaddik that he actually became a Baal Tshuva and bought him a home.
Wow.
See, he doesn't want to negotiate. Like Yossi said, I don't want to negotiate with them, just do it.
Yeah.
Now, to your question, there's pikuach nefesh doche Shabbat. If
Right.
something dangerous, but if your house get on fire,
That's not because nefesh.
no. You're not there, nobody's there. Whatever you have insurance, the Gemara says insurance for people that don't believe in Hashem. Right? No, all right, so let's continue. So it says in the Yud Bet and the Tishrei says we're going to build a Mishkan, but first Hashem starts with the Shabbat. A Shabbat, he says in last parasha, Kol mechalel Shabbat mot yumat, chas v'chalila, whoever should be dead. But here we say Shomer Shabbat u'mechalelo. Nachon, what is it? Shomer Shabbat mechalelo. Either keep or v'chilul.
Either you keep
Says the Ben-Ish-Chai, it's something beautiful. It's brought in the Zohar too, but the Ben-Ish-Chai wrote a lot about it. The Ben-Ish-Chai came from Iraq, is one of the biggest tzaddikim in the world. Yeah. So he says, Shomer Shabbat, mechalelo is machul lo. If you keep Shabbat, whatever you did in your life is gone. All the sins are machulo. No. בדיוק, אבל זה 2 מילים. הרי the Torah is written in a way, Moshe Rabbeinu, the Zohar says that when he received the Torah, originally it got everything to the point of Mount Sinai. That's Hashem on Mount Sinai say, okay, you got a cube of all the letters of the Torah. It's 805,000 letters. 304 letters, all in one, they're all mixed together as a cube.
There was no space.
No space. And then Hashem says, Bereshit, put a space. Bara, put a space.
Oh, it was all
Yes,
in one.
all in one. That's
big
right.
Chain.
That's right. Okay? It was the cube. The cube, the Torah, it says 2 tfachim by 3 tfachim, right? So it's really malben, right? Is a rectangle.
2 by 3, right? Rectangle.
Rectangle, 6. You have 2 times 3.
And what
2 was the tefach. This is tefach. So 2 of these, okay, times 3. 2, 2, 2, right? So if you look at it, it's a malben.
Right.
It's like a cube, but not perfect cube.
Right.
And it says you have 2, the Torah, the written Torah. Middle, the oral Torah. And the third, the Kabbalah, the Zohar. Okay? Now it says you can see everything from every side. Right? The first Torah that Hashem gave in Mount Sinai before Moshe broke, there is something very interesting in it. He said Moshe received 1,000 lights from the Torah that he received. Right? He said last parasha that he had a light around him, right?
He has an aura.
Aura. Is actually his neshama came out of his body. He reached such a higher level the neshama could not. They were afraid. And he had to cover masveh. Right?
All the problem we have the karnaim.
Yeah.
In Hebrew, karnaim is lights, but people translate it as horns.
Horns,
yes. Jews have horns.
So the Zohar says he received 1,000 lights. It says in the first luchot, you can see everything from every angle. And you see there is 2 letters, samech mem, right? Samech and mem, mem sofit. There is a thing inside, right? If you look at samech you write like this, and there's a hole inside, right? The samech and the mem has the same thing, right? Like a bagel kind of thing, right? With the inside. But none of it, like the piece inside doesn't hold any sides. It's by itself.
But the mem
no, even the mem, no. Mem sagur, but the same like samech mem. This is the
One is almost rectangle,
Yeah.
the one is circle.
yeah, but inside,
Yeah.
if you write it, if you look in the Torah, there is a piece inside
Okay. In both?
in both,
Okay.
right? To make it samech, because if you do, it's an igul. There's nothing inside, right? In order to notice the samech, you have to look at the inside. There's a little
Okay.
piece. You can look at it in Hebrew,
Yeah.
and samech and the mem. Okay. It says amazing. It says the samech and the mem together appears in a calculation of 1,000 times as far as the orot. There is samech, it's 16 gematria, right? And it appears about 20 times. And mem is 40. 40 in gematria. So 60 plus 40,
100.
100, but it appears together 1,000 altogether within gematria. So the 1,000 lights. So now Moshe Rabbeinu, when he came on Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, he broke the luchot. Nahon? That's the golden calf, right? We know, we talked about it.
Right.
The Zohar says everything left except one thing remain on the luchot. Zachor et Shabbat. The Shabbat did not want to leave the luchot. The broken piece, everything broke except the mitzvah of Shabbat. The fourth one, right? Look at the fourth one.
Yeah.
It comes before parents.
Zachor et Shabbat.
It says Zachor et Shabbat and then kabed et avicha. It says if your parents don't keep Shabbat, you don't have to respect them. You have to respect them. But if they come tell you Chalel Shabbat, say, Abba, I love you, but I don't want to. The Shabbat comes before your father and your mother. Before everything. They say when Hashem says to Moshe Rabbeinu, Pesol lecha, bring another set, but bring the broken pieces, put them in the ark.
Right.
Right? It's because the Shabbat was there. Shabbat is the most important thing for Hashem. Hashem says, don't build me Mishkan. My rabbi in Yerushalayim, this is from the Buso family, it's the grandson of the Baba Sali. Once one of his Baalei Tshuva started coming to his kowel. He said to him, כבוד הרב, אני רוצה ברכה. אז הרב אומר לו, מה אתה רוצה? הוא רוצה פרנסה. הוא אומר לו, פשוט מאוד, תשמור שבת. אני לא יכול, So keep the Shabbat. So I can't. So he said, do you eat pork? The rabbi asked this guy, do you eat chazir, pork? I got all the ingredients. What, Rabbi, I'm a Jew. What do you mean, chazir? What kind of question? So the rabbi said, I'm going to give you a blessing. I bless you to eat pork 6 times a week. Eat every day chazir, but keep Shabbat. The guy said, what do you mean?
Wow.
He said, eating pork is one avera. Chilul Shabbat is all 613. You pass on all of them. You can, Shabbat, here, what the Al-Sheikh says in the Zohar and the Gemara and the Maharal, it says something beautiful. It says that the Shabbat atoned for everything. So he said to him, eat chazir 6 times a week,
But keep Shabbat.
but keep Shabbat. He says the calculation will be a lot better for you if you eat chazir and keep Shabbat.
And what this guy
The
said
guy was so
after-
shocked, he went home and kept Shabbat. And immediately, they said within 2 weeks, he got a job. He didn't have a job. 2 weeks, he got a job. And he came after 1 year, he asked to do, on Pesach and Yom Kippur, there's a lot of shiurim, a lot of speakers, right? And he asked the rabbi, please, let me tell him my story. So the rabbi says, tell him everything, but don't mention me. This rabbi, I went to see him. He came to LA a couple of weeks ago, if you remember. He's the guy that does the Tikkun Yesod for all Los Angeles. He fasts, from Shovavim, after you finish Bereshit, right? He fasts until, the end, 6 days to Shmot, so if Motzei Shabbat until Friday night, no water, no food, nothing.
How is it possible?
Tzaddikim.
Why he wants to do that?
Because to atone to the people,
Baba
Baba
Sali,
Sali, many.
אבל כן,
The-
אפשר
but
לדעת מי הרב הזה?
כן, הרב שלמה בוסו.
שלמה בוסו?
Yes, הוא הנכד של הבבא סאלי. Okay?
זה מנהריה?
No, we're from Yerushalayim. Okay? And Baruch Hashem. So it says that Hashem says, look, we're about to build a Mishkan, but I want you to keep Shabbat. The first thing for Hashem is keep Shabbat. And he says something amazing. He says that, now, after he explained the Shabbat, and he says, now, Bechol Asher Nedavar Rucho, Oto Haviu et Trumat Adonai. He said, now we're going to build a Mishkan. Because of the golden calf scene, Hashem is willing to forgive you, build a mishkan. By the way, not forgive you completely.
Until
Forgive
today,
you.
we
Exactly. Forgive you just for that period of time, not killing everybody. At the end, everybody died in the
Right,
40
nobody-
years.
I have a
right.
question.
Nobody
about,
will enter Israel from the
Yes,
I have
yes.
a question about the golden calf. Why
Yeah.
calf? I mean, it says
Ah,
they
beautiful.
said Eloi, Eloi, Israel. Was that an Egyptian god or
Chazak
something?
Baruch.
Yeah.
Thank you, whoever put this. Baruch Atah, whoever prayed.
Amen.
Josie, thank you for them.
Right.
Food.
Bring it.
מתי האדמה?
No, this is it. Yeah. By the way, if you eat a fruit that's not ready, you do adama. Let's say you're starving
Wow.
and you see an orange that is green.
Or
And you're
green
so
banana.
hungry. Huh?
Or green banana.
Or green
Green
banana.
banana is any
Banana is
banana.
adama. No, but a fruit that you do for like a clementina that's green and you're starving and you want to eat it, you do adama because it's not ripe yet. Okay? So now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I'm willing to reside within you. Why? Because the golden calf was so horrific, Hashem, the Shekhinah left.
Yeah.
Right? Now Hashem, the people of Israel did tshuva and this and that, removed the Erev Rav outside of the clouds of glory, Ananei Shekhinah. And Hashem says, now I want you to come and let's us build a Mishkan. You know, the first thing that before the Mishkan, Hashem says, Lo tevaru esh bechol moshvotechem beyom HaShabbat. You know, there's 39 things, prohibition that we cannot do on Shabbat. 39, right? Lametet melachot. You heard of that?
No.
Okay. There are 39. Why? Because Adam, Chava, and the snake and the earth got cursed 39. 10 Adam, 10 Chava, 10 Nachash, and 10 the earth. Because the Chilul Shabbat.
So how is 39 if it's 10, 10,
10, 10, 10, and 9.
Good night.
The
Who got
Adama,
9?
Adama, the earth. You know, at the moment when Hashem built the world that time, everything spoke. The earth, you can speak to the earth. The animals spoke. Adam spoke to the animal. Chava spoke to the animal. Hashem spoke to them directly. It was like perfect. It was Gan Eden on earth.
But they were literally speaking, or it was like
Speaking. Vaydaber Adonai, Vaydaber, Devarim. Dibur. Yes, of course. It says, Lo tevaru. It says, whoever does melacha, yumat. You have to die. Imagine, we're all here by a billion miracles. We should all be dead. I did Chilul Shabbat before I made the. I grew up religious. I left. I did Shuvah. But in between, I did Chilul Shabbat. I used to drive to Shul. Because the rabbi says it's okay. I didn't know. I mean, I knew it was bad, but the rabbi says it's okay.
What does the rabbi
It's
say?
better. Huh?
Aren't you allowed to say what the rabbi say?
No. So you have to know the law by yourself.
Yeah.
ודיברת בם, בשבתך, בביתך, ולך בדרך. In all conditions, you have to speak Torah, know the Torah. You're not able, let's say a police officer stops you at 180 miles an hour. Well, you say, I didn't know. I say, who cares? I'm going to.
No, but if the rabbi tells you it's okay.
No,
then
so the rabbi is
we
not
don't get it.
the rabbi is not a real rabbi. Any rabbi that tells you to do Chilul Shabbat, you should run away from him. Okay? So here Hashem
But
says,
the rabbi not going to really tell you drive on
No,
Shabbat.
there are places that
they do.
Maybe the reform.
There's a rabbi in Yafo, Shmuel, you know the story, right? The rabbi of Yafo.
In Chabad, we have an oak path. We have somebody who can walk. I don't know if you met him. It's Chaim Shapan.
Okay.
Chaim Shapan cannot walk. He drives everything on Shabbat.
But that's something else.
No, you should not even stay
Listen, my
home.
dad could not
So he
breathe.
could stay home and pray.
My dad could not
Pikuach
breathe,
nefesh is different.
and he would go with the scooter to the
Pikuach
Shabbat.
nefesh. So you know
Because
there
he
is.
cannot walk.
So there was a poskim, Rabbi Ovadia Yosef did very few psikot for pikuach nefesh, for pikuach nefesh only. But look what the Shema says: Lo tevaru esh. Don't have fire in your home. Why out of all the 39? תנמיך את הפיצה, זה עושה רעש, אתה מחם. אוקיי, תחבא. תודה. So, are you listening, Gal? I know you're busy.
I'm listening.
So, you know, out of all the 39, one of them Hashem choose, fire. Do you know why?
Why?
Out of the 39, the only one you die for is fire. Everything else you can bring a korban. If you light a fire on Shabbat, let's say you start your car, that's 100 fires, not one. If you turn on the lights on Shabbat, this is death. Hashem, let us be here. He says, I'll give you a chance. Technically, we should all be dead, right?
But-
Hashem, yeah.
When you have the sensors and you're walking in.
So you're not allowed to have sensors on Shabbat. Halacha, for an example, if you know, if you didn't know, you walk by a house that it turns on by itself, first time is okay, you didn't know. Second time you have to go around. You cannot go by it.
Because you cause it.
Because you're causing it. That's exactly that.
Wow.
Yes. There's a lot of beautiful halachot. The Hashem says first the fire. Be careful from the fire because that could kill you. Right? They are something that we have to understand. Everything that we have and everything that we are and everything that we'll do, and it's all written in the Torah for us. You cannot say I didn't know. Can you read Hebrew?
Yeah.
Can you read an app? Today you have an app, you can download the best Gemara, Shulchan Aruch, halachot, videos, whatever you want. In the old days when I was in school, we had to go to yeshiva and look for books to turn to different books to find one issue of halachot.
So I have a question.
Please.
A lot of times people now pray from the phone.
That's okay.
Right.
Can you do it in Shabbat?
No, it's Sidur, of course.
No.
Why? Asur. Nothing on Shabbat. Yeah, no.
Phone is off.
It's very, very interesting. You have to understand. Hashem bring the fire for two reasons. He says, first, be careful, because you do fires, under the 39 melachot, they're all av melachot. You know what's av melacha? Is the main, and from that, there's a lot of, like for an example, let's say the most tum'ah is dead person, right? But there's other tum'ah. Let's say if you touch a lizard, or if you have sheret, so there's a lot of tum'ot, many tum'ot. One, the main one, and we call toladot. Toladot is the children of this halacha. So there's 39 prohibition you're not allowed to do. Anywhere in b'moshavatechem, in your home, in your city. But in the Mishkan, there were things you can do on Shabbat. Because Shabbat in the Mishkan is Gan Eden, is on Hashem, not on you. For an example, the fire on Shabbat came from Shamayim. There's not a fire you have to light. Right? You do Korban Tamid.
But isn't there was fire in the Mishkan all the time?
All the time.
Never turned on.
Never, or Nera Tamid, it's called. Right? So it says something amazing. It says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu patach b'mitzvat HaShabbat. Hashem start with the Shabbat. Only then he tells them, listen, you're about to build my home. Don't work on Shabbat. You're about to build the Mishkan. You can do anything you want during the week, nothing on Shabbat. And then the Torah says something amazing. So now Hashem asked Moshe to tell them, and all of a sudden they bring so much. The people of Israel now, after the golden calf, they did such bad thing. Hashem left. Hashem says, I'm going to give you my angel, Michael, right? Moshe says, no, only you. We're not going without you. Moshe was a chutzpah, He reached such level that he spoke to Hashem panim el panim. Can you imagine this?
But he didn't see him, only his back, no?
Well, I said panim el panim, Hashem showed him image of what he needed to see. Like for example, today we see images, right? I'll tell you a story. This is amazing. Tzachi and his wife Rinat. We did the shiur in their house. The Baal Tshuva too. Amazing. When they started the tshuva, the first thing they did, if I'm not mistaken, was a shiur for his grandmother or grandfather. And they did such tshuva, they immediately kept Shabbat 100%, no like steps. That night, she sits in one room and he sits in another room, completely far from each other. They both see something, terrified. She sees a lion walking in the hallway. He sees the lion coming to the living room where we were. Lion, actual lion. And then it disappeared. So, they told me the story. I said, listen, I'm going to ask I have one of the rabbis that is a dear, dear friend. He's one of the biggest mekubalim in Israel. He's a real mekubal. Big time mekubal, but he only does it to help people. And he knows everything about what you see. Like he sees you, he can tell you everything, things you like from your childhood just by looking at you. He's that kind of rabbi. Tzaddik Olam. Used to come to our home every year before the COVID. He used to stay with us for 5 days. We did Shiurim. People come and ask questions. Bezat Hashem will help us. So I talked to him. I said, Rabbi, this is what happened. That's the story they told me, when we did the shiur. So he says, this is absolutely 100%. They have zechut mishamayim. He says there's a agana pratit, there's a zechut mishamayim. A lion is what's Aryeh is the word yirah, right? Because they had such fear of Hashem and respect of Shabbat, a lion came, says, I'm with you. He says that's a neshama of a big tzaddik in their family.
באמת הם ראו את זה.
Yes, but
ראו אריה.
they're both terrified. And then the wife says to him, he says, did you see something? He goes, did you see the lion too?
וואו.
She like start crying, you know, like they were terrified. They look around, you know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes Hashem show you, with Moshe Rabbeinu, Hashem showed him a lot of visions, how to do things,
Right.
to build a Mishkan. You know, Hashem says, you know, people can give teruma.
Donation.
Last week we spoke the half a shekel. This is to, you know, have everybody equal. If you're rich, poor, doesn't matter. Half a shekel, everybody's equal. But now that they build, bring whatever you want. People brought so much that come the, you know, the tzaddikim that were helping Moshe says, tell the people to stop. There's too much. We don't need. Right? Imagine. So look at this, what the Zohar says about this. It says, you know, the Zohar says, how can, you know, Moshe should have said, okay, we keep giving. We're going to be here 40 years. We need a lot of stuff. We need a lot of korbanot. We need this. We need gold. What's the problem getting more? This is one of the rabbis that does musar, big musar. You know, musar is a rebuke. You know what's rebuke? If somebody does something bad, you come and hint to them, but not hurting them. Just, you know, there's a better way of doing things, but keep them your friends. Right? Tell them, but make sure they're still amitecha. They're still your friends. Right? Always, I'll never do anything in public. If you see, talk to them quietly and say, what do you think about this? Let them know that you care about them.
Don't embarrass them.
Don't embarrass. Asur. So Moshe Rabbeinu, this rabbi explained something amazing. You know, Moshe Rabbeinu was at such level that he didn't care about the material stuff, you know? He cared about the spiritual stuff. But we are very physical, right? We are not even, you know, the dust of the feet of Moshe Rabbeinu. So Moshe Rabbeinu agrees. He says, stop, don't bring. So this rabbi says something beautiful. He says, when people do too much, it's not good. If you see, this rabbi is actually a kowel rabbi, and when he was in Avrech, he saw one of his buddies. You know, usually, you know, when you pray, Amida takes 5 minutes, 3 minutes, you know, not too long. This guy started doing it 8 minutes, 12 minutes, 15, an hour, Amida. So his rabbi says, immediately stop him. This rabbi, now he's the head of the kowel, but before he was there, I said, why stop him? Look how beautiful. He said, no. If you're too extreme, you lose dato and you lose da'ato. You lose your mind and you lose your religion. You can never be extreme. You have to be middle of the road.
But people still go to extreme.
Yeah, so the people that go to extreme always leave Hashem. At the end, they leave Hashem.
You know, there's a rabbi, Gabai. He was building a yeshiva.
Okay.
And somebody wants to give money. He said, no, I have enough.
Yeah.
He told him,
Yeah.
I have enough.
From Emma Banim, Rabbi Gaba, yeah.
Yes, Be'ezat Hashem. So, you know, Moshe Rabbeinu says, I don't want them to be extreme, because when you do extreme, it's hard to come back from it. You fall, right? You cannot be like crazy in everything in life. Like you cannot do a diet, all of a sudden stop eating completely. I'm just going to drink water. You're going to fall for sure, right?
I drink hard water.
Huh? No, I'm just saying, you can do everything slowly, you know, everything in, you know, moderation. Whoever does extreme will never survive.
No.
By his mind and by his religious. Moshe Rabbeinu did not want them to lose that. He said, let's build together slowly. We have enough. If we need more, we'll ask for more. Now Hashem sends 2 kids to build the Mishkan, Betzalel and Aholiav. You know, Betzalel and Aholiav, some say was one 12, one 13 years old. One, Betzalel is the grandson of Hur. Hur, right, is the guy that went to fight to the golden calf.
And
And they killed him.
They killed him for that. Yeah.
That's his grandson. You know who's his grandmother? No? Miriam.
Oh.
Miriam married Kalev ben Yefune, and that's their grandson. Okay. Now Betzalel Hashem spoke to him like he spoke to Moshe Rabbeinu. Bezalel. Because his father went to fight for Hashem. Like, there's another guy that fought for Hashem and never died. You remember who it is? Pinchas. Pinchas
Okay.
became Eliyahu Navi. He went to kill the toughest guy from the Shimon tribe. The Zimri. He says this is so zealous. Zealousy is one of the best thing he could do, but only for Hashem.
Zealousy?
Zealousy זה קנאה כזאת חזקה
What is it?
על
Zealousy?
קידוש. Zealousy באנגלית זה קנאה חזקה. Yes.
לא
Yeah,
קנאה כמו
in-
שאתה מקנא בבחור.
לא,
No,
לא,
I
לא,
know
לא.
jealousy.
Yeah, that's above jealousy. Jealousy,
I didn't
Yes.
know that there is word like that.
yes, the Ramchal, Rabbi Moshe Chaim Luzzatto, Zechon Tzadik Livracha, he wrote many books, 200 books. Eliyahu Navi came to him when he was 19. Okay, but he was so high that the Rabbanim put him on Cherem in Europe. You know what's Cherem? Is when you abstain from, so don't learn from this rabbi. He knew the whole unbelievable stuff. And he wrote many books. One of the books is Mesilat Yesharim. Mesilat Yesharim has all the character traits that you should learn from. Zealousy is one of them. Okay? I have it here if you want. So Be'ezat Hashem, we'll talk about it. So now Moshe Rabbeinu, there's these two kids. Everybody's giving everything. And of course, something amazing happened. Everybody gave. The women gave more than the men. Nachon? The Torah says something amazing. That the women brought so much. And then, Vayavo ha'anashim al anashim. The women gave so much. But the men gave second. But there's one group that didn't give anything. The Nesiim, the president. And the Torah write their name without the Yud. Nesiim is with Yud. Hashem took his letter out of them. And they come, if you reread the letter, San'am, Hashem San'am.
Why did they bring
They said, let's see what we need after we bring. They were the richest people. Each Nasi. So let's the other give.
They were cheap.
They were very, very cheap.
But the poor people or the
So they lost the youth.
They
Yeah.
lost the Yud and become, and that's, by the way, this is the Nesiim that would go and be the Meraglim.
Oh, sell it?
10 of them.
they would have
The 10 spies will come from them. Because Hashem, Sena'am. They said, let's see what they need. Now Moshe says, we don't need everything.
עכשיו נשיאים, what is נשיאים שלי? כל שבט
כל
נשיא?
שבט, נשיא.
אז כל הנשיאים מכל שבט?
כן, לא נתנו.
וואו.
כן. So now Hashem gave from Shamayim, Shoham, Avnei Shoham. You know what Shoham?
Right.
That's the breastplate, nachon?
Right.
Shoham is Hashem. It came from Shamayim, not from them. Later they'll do a little tshuva when it comes to the Nesiim bringing the gifts, nachon? But we'll get to it. So now it says, Kol davar rucho ito haviu et rumat Adonai. You know, when you give tzedakah and you give it with love, it's the best tzedakah in the world. The two kids, Bezalel and Oliah. Bezalel is from the tribe of Yehuda, which is the biggest tribe in Israel. Oliah from the tribe of Dan. Dan at one point was removed from Israel, just so you know, in the Midbar. Shevet Dan, they did not trust Hashem in the clouds of glory. They went outside to deal with the Goyim. And Hashem, until they did tshuva, they brought him back. But Hashem says, listen, it can be from the highest to the lowest. You can still build my Mishkan. 12 and 13 years old. Hashem spoke to them and showed them what Moshe saw on Har Sinai, how to build the Mishkan. Moshe is testing them. He says, you need to do this. And then they said, no, that's not what Hashem said.
Oh, he tried to trick
He tried to trick them. Because, Moshe is with Hashem, like nobody. All of a sudden, two kids come to him and say, we're going to build this house. We know how to do it. So Hashem told him, this is who I chose. And it says, Katuv, it says, as we mentioned, that everything that they have to build now, you have the whole details, everything.
עכשיו, מחילה, משה באיזה גיל הוא בתקופה הזו?
Now it's a very good question. Remember, he
How
was,
old is Moshe
is
in
now,
this time?
is Moshe Rabbeinu is 80 years old, 81 years old. Okay? He's now will lead them another 40. He'll be 120, 39.
Oh, yeah.
How do we know 39? You ever ask yourself, how do we know that Moshe was 81? Because Hashem says, Daber el achicha Aharon. Why Hashem says achicha? What, Moshe doesn't know Aaron is his brother?
Right.
The Zohar says, Hashem revealed to him, achicha gematria 39. In 39 years from now, he'll die, then you die, and Miriam will die. All three of you will die at the last year in the desert. 39, achicha. Okay? Now, it says that you have all, Hashem basically have the whole stuff and everything that they need to do. And of course, we talked about the tachash. There was an animal. Today,
Beautiful.
the called unicorn, had a
unicorn,
yeah.
Tachash?
yeah, but not the same like a horse, just so you know. It was an animal Hashem created in Bereshit that came there and then left the world and came back now to build the Mishkan. It was like a dinosaur.
They built the Mishkan with them? Or they just had the
No, to take the skin.
Yeah,
the skin. The
The
skin of the
cover.
tachash was so beautiful, it was like the color of the rainbow on the skin. And you have 100 yards to cover, right? You have, 6-year-old, 10-year-old. There's like a lot of skin from one animal called the tachash. And that's, some of this. Of course, we know that we say that here, that כל מרים תרומתו כסף ונחושת הביאו תרומת אדוני וכל אשר נמצא איתו עצי שיטים. We talked about it, עצי שיטים. How do they have עצי שיטים? Tree, acacia tree.
Right, won't be in the desert.
Today they have another name in English. What's the strongest wood?
The oak.
No.
Mahogany.
No. It's teak. Teak.
Deck.
It's one of those very strong. It's a shitim. Okay.
Professional.
Yes, he knows. It's wood. Yeah. Yeah. So Moshe, Yaakov, when he went to Egypt, he saw already the prophecy came to him that they need to build a Mishkan. So he took trees of shitim and then plant them in Goshen, and then when the time comes, take them.
Right.
One of them had 50 amot. 50 amot, 25 meter. Just for the erect the Mishkan. It's so heavy that only Moshe, because he was so strong, he was able to lift it by himself. Moshe was 5 meter tall. Vayakam et hamishkan. He actually erased it.
5 meter tall?
כן, היה גבוה, 5 מטר.
זה לא כתוב.
כתוב בגמרא. בטח. כל מה שאני אומר לך כתוב, אני לא...
זה משהו מיוחד.
כן, הוא היה ענק, גם אהרון היה ענק. משה רבנו had 5 meter. פרעה היה מטר, אמה וחצי. The Gemara says, מסכת חגיגה, he was אמה וחצי. It was like,
How it could be? Even dwarf is taller than this.
Do you know how many dwarfs we have in the world today? You saw the Guinness book last week, the smallest woman and the tallest guy. The guy's 8'6". She's 25 centimeters from India. She's 25 centimeters like this. אישה, מלאה, אישה, עם הכל.
You're going to step on it.
ככה, הנה, בקבוק, here's water, here. תן לו כוס, הנה. So he says that, come and give everything. And he says, וכל הנשים אשר נשא ליבן, אותנה בחוכמה תאהבו את העזים. The women came to do a lot of things. And of course, we know that, we said the Nesiim, if you look here at the Pasuk Kaf Zayin 27, Perek 35, it says, והנשיאים without you, הביאו אבני שואה. It's really not them. Hashem sent those very holy, the shoham, the choshen, ephod, right? iPad in English, right? You speak to it, it goes back and forth. To write the names of the people of Israel on the choshen, you cannot use any metal. There was Tola'at Shamir. You heard of the Tola'at Shamir? It was created on the 10 things were created after the sin of Adam, between the suns, it's called Ben Hashmashot, between the sun goes down to the moon comes out, right before Shabbat, 10 things were created. One of them is a Tola'at Shamir, is a worm called Shamir.
Yeah.
This worm cut through everything, has laser. Okay, laser is not something new. This, the Gemara said, Masechet Sotah, you put the worm and just, do a line where you want her to, clear, she would cut.
Wow.
She would cut anything, metal, even, stone, anything she cuts.
That's what they cut the Beit-HaMikdash.
Yes, all the names, everything with that. The Shamir, Shlomo HaMelech stole it from the Ashmedai, Melech HaShedim. Shlomo HaMelech stole it from the head of the Ashmedai, the head of the demons on earth.
Demons.
Yes. So the Gemara says in Masechet Sotah that can they keep it? Because it cuts everything. So Moshe Rabbeinu revealed to them a secret. It says you have to put it bedil, oferet. Oferet, it's in English, what do you call oferet? Lead.
Lead, right? Lead.
Lead is the only thing that nothing penetrates, That's why they build like a bulletproof with lead.
That's why you use lead for bullets.
Yes. And when you go to the dentist, they put on you what?
Yeah.
Lead.
Yeah,
Right?
on the
Oh,
ray.
right.
Yes.
For the X-ray,
It
the heavy
blocks
stuff.
everything.
The heavy.
Yeah. So they say you
That's
have a
leading.
box of lead and you put it inside with grain.
Must it be bleed?
Oferet.
Oferet.
Kufsat oferet. You put it in grain with a cloth, and she stays there. She doesn't cut it. When NASA developed the laser, they didn't know how to hold this power because you cut through everything. So one of the scientists was Jewish. So he went to his rabbi and he asked him, he says, did you hear about the laser? But we don't know how to harness this power. He said, try lead. So he said, what do you mean try lead? He says, yeah, we have that in the Torah. There is a Tolat Shamir. That's how they kept it. So they tried and they succeed.
I have a question. Do we know the size of the Tolat Shamir? Can it be a little Tolat?
Very
Could it
little.
be
No,
like
very, very little. They said they kept it in a small box. Very little. Yeah, it's Hashem. This is power from Hashem. It's not the Tolat itself. It's Hashem, right? I want you to look today when you go out in the morning. Just look
Can I
around.
have one? I need to cut some.
Let's say you see a bee flies, right? A bee flies, a bee, right? A mosquito, a bird. You look, it's like there's billions of miracles that only Hashem can do. Today, with all science, and they cannot even make a mosquito, right? On its own, everything in science has to have power source.
They cannot make honey too.
No, they cannot make anything. They can make a machine, but everything has to have a power source that they create. But everything Hashem creates has no power source. Imagine you live 70, 80, 120. There's no you don't put gasoline, you don't put solar, we don't put electricity. It's by itself. Everything Hashem creates is amazing. Just to, Job, Eov, he was the only biggest tzaddik of the goyim. And he says,
I was going.
yeah, of course. He says that, Mibesari echeze Eloha. I can see God through my body. I look at my hand. I see God. He was so righteous that the Satan says to Hashem, let me test him. You'll see he will fall. Hashem says, go ahead, but don't hurt his neshama, his nefesh too. He killed his sons, his daughter, burned his house, killed everything, lost everything. Nothing. He never complains. From Hashem.
And it was Goy.
Goy. He was the advisor of Pharaoh, one of the 3 advisors.
But he came back with.
So he was so righteous. Hashem returned everything to him and then some.
Yeah.
Why you can return? Your kids are dead.
No, give him Chiyat HaMetim.
Oh yeah.
He had more kids. We come into Purim, right? And the Gemara says there's one rabbi. By the way, any rabbi that appears in the Gemara, there's a secret to it, okay? Any name of a rabbi that you see, a Tana or a Morai, big tzaddikim. So one day, these 2 tzaddikim, Chavruta, they learn together, start drinking on Purim. Katuv, Levesume.
Yeah.
One of them got so drunk, killed his friend.
Whoa.
He woke up in the morning, his friend is dead. So, Tanaim, any name that you see in the Gemara, Mechayemetim, they can resurrect the dead. Mechayemetim. Yeah, just they speak and they raise the dead. So he raised him. So, the story was told. It says, now you have to be just very lechaim. You don't get drunk. You're not allowed to get drunk.
In Purim.
At all. Even in Purim, it's just, go to sleep. That's it. Sleep it off. Don't get too crazy. So now the next year his sister come, let's do another house. No. I want to come into your house.
Yes.
So now it says that they build everything, and then of course Bigdei Kohen and Bigdei Sarad. You know what's Bigdei Sarad? You know the clothes of the Kohen. We all know. Right? They have 8 pieces for the Kohen Gadol, 4 for the Kohen
And some
Katan,
bells in it.
all kinds of 72
bells.
bells.
Yes.
72.
You know, they found
The bells.
They found one bell.
Yes. You know
And
how
they
many
checked
bells?
The gold and everything. It was the
It's from the Kohen. Yes. You know the gold has 72.
They found bells?
Yes.
Because on the bottom
מתחת
of
לכותל.
the rope of the
Amazu.
Kohen,
Yes.
they had bell, and they had to keep working because when he go to the Kodesh, and the bell had to move. If he stopped, that means something happened.
So you know
And
I
he
had
cannot go to
72.
pull him.
Right.
Yeah, he's right. They had 72 bells.
Yeah.
You know, Rimon bells, the Rimon
Exactly.
is the only fruit that grows the wrong way.
What do
The
you mean?
crown is on the bottom. The crown should be on top.
Yeah.
Nachon? But if you look at this,
Come to symmetry.
it's the opposite. So there were 72 of them. Why? Because Hashem has one name, 72 letters. Why did they wear this? Why did they have to have bells?
Yes, that if they go
So
into...
let me tell you the secret. The
Yeah.
Zohar Kadosh says something. Every day there was thousands of sacrifice, millions even in the 3 days of the regalim. Every night there was angel called Malachi Hasharet. They come and they clean the Bet HaMikdash. Every night they come, and when the Kohen Gadol, before he comes, he shakes so they hear the bells and they leave. Nadav and Avihu came without bells. So they saw the angels, and the angel, you cannot see angel and die and leave.
No.
Because
But you
Hashem,
cannot see an angel and leave? I
Leave.
thought only...
there is 3 people in the world that saw an angel and lived. Yaakov Avinu, he fought the angel Samael and won. Unbelievable. Look how strong Yaakov is. Moshe Rabbeinu,
אבא של שמשון נדמה לי.
exactly. And first the mother, Slalfonit. Slalfonit, an angel came to her and says, listen, you're going to be pregnant, don't drink today. Make sure he doesn't cut his hair. It's going to be Nazir. She come to her husband. She says, you know, angel came to me and told me that. The husband says, hey, can I see him? You know?
But what about angels that can come through like a body, like a human?
Yeah, that's the
being?
angels that come to help you is okay. You don't know they're angels.
Okay.
But to see a real angel that come as an angel, you'll die. Lo yarani adam v'chai. So comes Slalfonit, you know, she was more righteous than her husband. That's why you're not allowed to walk after a woman, you know. A man that walk after a woman is a weak man. The woman is stronger than him. You have to walk in front of your
If you
woman.
respect her.
No. You can open the door for her, but in your life, you should always lead. In everything. This is halacha.
That's why the Arabs do that.
Yes. So, Slalfonit brought, you know, the next day, asked the angel to come, and the husband come and see him. And now he believes. And Shimshon was born.
Shimshon HaGibor.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay? You know, Shimshon was so big. They said just his ktefaim, you know, his top,
Shoulders.
30 amma, 15 meters.
How
I
tall
don't
was
wonder.
he?
Some say 60, it was giant. Yeah.
How tall?
Huh?
How tall was he?
Some say it was 60 amot, 30 meters.
Yeah.
Yes.
אז היו ענקים
You know, when,
בתורה.
yeah, of course, there was Anakim.
Giants.
You know, when he destroyed the so-called, you know, the Zirah shel Kol, the temple of the, he killed 1,000 people. Just he said, Tamot nafshim plishtim, not Palestinians, plishtim,
Yes.
and he killed
And he
1,000.
himself was killed too.
Yeah.
Yes, but he, because of his own stupidity,
He was Nazir Elohim.
you know, he trusted an Arab woman.
Yeah.
But Philistine is actually Amalekites.
אז פלישתים זה ערב.
Yeah, זה היום
זה
אין פלישתים, זה עמלק.
Dalila.
Huh?
Dalila, right.
Dalila, yes. לדלות. You know what's דלילה? לדלות ממנו את האמת.
תורת הכוח.
Yes, he took his power. But it's because he did, he told her. The Zohar Kadosh said he went there to do tikkun, to bring Mashiach. Because, you know, they're part of Edom. Edom is Esav. Yaakov wanted to bring Mashiach with Esav. That's why he put the Evan, you know, the stone that he put is for Bet HaMikdash. Right? Yaakov Avinu said, when I'm there, I'll build the Bet HaMikdash when I come back from the house of Lavan. Esav came to him, want to kill him. He said, no Mashiach. All right, so let's continue. So now, it says,
You want Mashiach now.
ויאמר משה לבני ישראל, הוא הזכיר, ראו קרא אדוני, said, look, Hashem called upon this two kids, Betzalel, which is Betzelel in the shadow of God, and who is the son of Uri ben Hur. He was like the grandson of Hur. And Lemate Yehuda, as we said, וימלא אותו רוח אלוהים בחוכמה. Hashem filled him with Ruach Kodesh. You know, if I told you here, let's say I'll give you everything you need to build something. Let's say the Mishkan. Every one of you will have different Mishkan.
Of course.
נכון? But Moshe, Betzalel, and Oliav, they saw exactly the same site. They saw the finished product. סוף מעשה, Hashem showed them how it's going to look at the end. לחשוב מחשבות ולעשות בזהב ובכסף. They said that they had the ability. Well, let's say,
You engineer.
They were actually project manager, engineers, but they also worked on things. They said that when they receive a truma, they can look at the truma and see the spirit of the truma. How the person gave it, with love, because many people were afraid just for the gold. They come here, take. So they use it in different parts. But the Holy of Holies was the people that gave from the best things in their heart. There's gold for Aron HaKodesh, the Kruvim. The Kruvim were two cherubs. Malachim mizahav, two boys, babies. When they look at each other,
They're babies?
babies.
With wings.
Right.
Yes.
אז הקרובים זה מלאכים באיזה דרגה?
גבוהה כל כך זהב שזז. They move. If the people of Israel are good, they're sochachim together. When they're not, they turn away from each other. You see it. Hashem spoke to Moshe and to Aaron HaKohen ben hakeruvim. That's where Hashem's voice came from. That's how holy they are. Do you know the first cherubim mentioned in the Torah?
Where?
In Bereshit. When Adam sinned, Hashem removed the tree of life and put it תחת החרב המתהפכת עם הכרובim.
It says it like this.
Yes. Here. This is the first time. יש שם איזה עץ כזה, תיקח. לא, הנה המפתח שם. יש סיר. אתה, הבת של המן זרקה עליו את הסיר של החרא. כן. לא, לאן? פה? תראה לו. בעזרת השם, יופי.
מה עשית עם החדר הזה?
זה, האמת, הוא נתן לנו את זה שבמידה וצריך, אבל בינתיים עד שלא צריך. לא, בינתיים לא משתמשים בו. הוא אומר, תשתמש אם אתה רוצה, בעזרת השם. אבל ברוך השם, אנחנו...
הוא יהודי?
לא, אבל הוא אחד מהאבנג'ליסטים, הוא אוהב את היהודים מאוד מאוד, אשתו פשוט צדקת עולם. טוב, בואו נמשיך הלאה. So we know that הקדוש ברוך הוא אומר לאדם, אייכה. אייכה, what's אייכה? אלוהים יודע כל הנסתרות. What have you done? מה קרה פה? הוא אומר, you, Hashem, gave me this and this and the snake and the woman, everybody blames everybody. Right? And Hashem, it says, he gives them the curses and everything, 10 to Adam, 10 to Chava, 10 to the snake, and 10 and 9 for the earth. And then he says, לאדם אמרת, כי שמעת לכל אשתך ותאכל. Hashem says, המין העץ, שאמרתי לך, המין זה המן, יתעלה על העץ. המן? כן. They say that Haman built a tree, tliya, which is to hang Mordechai, 50 amma. Do you know how many komot? In Hebrew, in Israel, you build a building, even in America, it's 25 komot.
50 amma?
50 amma. It's 25 meters. 25 meters, sometimes between 7 to 12 komot. Stories. This is how tall. You want to look all Tehran and Faras Umadan. So it says, look what it says here. It says, ויאמר אדוני אלוהים, הן האדם היה כאחד ממנו לדעת טוב ורע. פן ישלח ידו ולקח גם מעץ החיים. Hashem removed the עץ החיים, threw him out of Gan Eden, ויגרש את האדם וישכן מקדם לעדן. And now it says, וישכן מקדם לעדן את הכרובים. ואת להט החרב המתהפכת לשמור על דרך עץ החיים.
וואי, וואי, וואי.
You see, Hashem removed the tree of life. He said, Adam is going to use it because now he's going to die.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to die. תודה רבה. He's going to die. I'll remove it, but it took the cherubim. This is the cherub. This is the angel that guards this Etz HaChaim. So, you know, Hashem, as we know, those two kids, they took everything and they were building unbelievable stuff. And Yasu Kol Chacham Lev, anybody that was, you know, the people of Israel, remember, they came out of Egypt, right? Came out of Egypt, they were masonries, you know, they wanted to, they build, right? They build, they're like Amidar, Bnei Betcha, you know, they can build a home. They can, but to do like the art of the Mishkan is really, they say if a person really wanted to, Hashem gave him the wisdom, like how to do everything. Because, you know, the Mishkan has unbelievable power. Mishkan means Shekhinah, Mashkon, right? Hashem give us a collateral on earth. And now the people of Israel will build this Mishkan, and this Mishkan will be very much the details of... בדיוק, שלמה אמר, תן לי לדעת איך לשפוט אותם בחוכמה, נכון? בדיוק. The Torah goes into all the details. So, you know, something amazing. It says that, you know, when they built the golden calf, we said there were 13 golden calf. נכון? Says the Zohar Kadosh, that, you know, זה, אלוהיך ישראל, זה in Gematria is 12. So now we have 12 and 1, 13. What else do we have in 13? We have 13. Why? Because there were 13 kinds of truma you have to give the Mishkan. 13 דברים צריך לתת למשכן. אין 13 גימטריה שהוא אחד, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Right? You want to be one with Hashem?
13 זה אחד?
אחד בגימטריה, א', ח', ד', 13.
אחד, א', ח', ד'.
נכון, כן. אין אהבה, to love Hashem, נכון? אהבה. Yeah. Yeah. Kids. Baruch Hashem.
13 kids?
Baruch Hashem.
And he had minion with him included. 9 boys.
Henry told me. Henry told me once. Henry asked his father.
You never have to worry about minion. Wow.
Henry asked his father, "How do you have so many kids?" So the father says, "You know, I used to ask your mother, you want to go to sleep or what?" She always said what.
You know what? I have a brother who went to Morocco with another brother.
Oh,
And they saw a waiter serving, and he had a name Lasri. So he called my father, he said, "You forget one son there."
by the way, Lasri is a big tzaddikim.
Yeah.
Amazing Rabbanim in Morocco. Yeah. So there is also 13 attribute of mercy, נכון?
Right.
There's 13, like we have to remember the 13 Ikarim, נכון? Every day we say in Shachrit, 13 Ikarim. Everything comes with 30. 13 against those.
I was born on 13th of October.
Baruch Hashem. You know, in America, if you go to every hotel, there's never 13. But for us, it's the best, bar mitzvah.
Yeah, it's a good number.
Yes. 13 is Hashem Echad.
There's a Maasiyot that once happened when I was a kid, you know, I was listening to it. And there was on Shabbat, there's a woman who was frying peppers. The rabbi passed by and she was frying peppers. And you could see, and she had a schina. And they asked her, they said, "How can she have the schina?" She said, "Because she doesn't take Lashon Hara. She doesn't go with other women to do Lashon Hara."
Yeah.
Lashon Hara is the worst thing.
The worst. Lashon Hara is worse than murder. Just so you know. Yeah.
Because of Lashon Hara.
Chazak. You know, says Al Sheikh HaKadosh something amazing. He says, Chet ha'egel echzir et zohamat ha'nachash. The golden calf returned the power of the snake in Gan Eden that defiled what we call Chava. The Eshiani. You know, the Torah says that Eshiani, that means he tricked me. But why? Because Adam changed what Hashem says. Hashem says, don't eat.
And he said, don't touch.
He said, don't touch to Chava. The hair, snake, the hair. So I have an opening. That's why what Henry said now, Lashon Hara gives opening to a lot of people. Don't ever listen to Lashon Hara. If somebody can't tell you, Get away immediately, move.
Or tell him, I don't want to hear.
No, that's it, get away. Say thank you, I don't want to hear, and leave.
I don't want to hear anything.
Not a thing, not a word.
Yeah.
Not a word, because it will hurt you more as much as the person talking, the
That's
person.
what I do.
So it says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu now, the Salshech HaKadosh, הנה מה שאמרו חז"ל, צריך הכנה לקראת ראיית הקדוש ברוך הוא. In order to be able to receive Hashem amongst us, we have to have a kli. You know, what's a kli in Hebrew?
It's a vessel.
Vessel, kli is Kohen Levi Israel. We have to be together. We have to be united. In order to get the power of Hashem and be able to sustain this, we have to be the kli. You know, you heard of the Khatam Sofer. We'll finish in a couple minutes. You know, the Khatam Sofer was a Rabbi Moshe Schreiber, big tzaddik of Europe, one of the biggest tzaddikim. In the 1700s, you know, there was the new movement to reform, to take the Jewish kids out of colleges and put them in, out of the yeshivot, put them in colleges. Mendelssohn, Tnuat Haskalah, all these
That's
people.
started in Germany.
Huh? It's in Germany, it's everywhere, in Austria, Germany, Poland, they went everywhere. In Hungary. So this rabbi was fighting them. A big tzaddik. So they went and made alila. They lied and to tell the governor is going against you and this and that. So they arrested him. And they made such lies, the Jews, that's supposed to be rabbis, reforms, made such alila about Rabbi Schreiber. So Rabbi Schreiber, they put him in jail. He was in Hungary. And when they put him in jail, they said, listen, we want you to, there's one officer, we want you to teach him Torah. A goy officer, teach him Torah. The rabbi was so upset, he's already in jail, he's not in his kollel. He said, well, I have to teach now this goy Torah. So you have to teach him the whole Torah.
Who said to him?
The governor.
The governor.
He says, if not, we're going to kill you. So Rabbi Schreiber, he did what he did, and then he escaped, Baruch Hashem, from jail. So they're looking for him again now. They found him, arrested him again, said, now we're going to kill you. You betrayed the governor. You're going to have a military trial. You know, military trial, you kill right away. There's no
lawyer.
No, you know, that's why, you know, the U.S. opened Guantanamo Bay. It was just to deal with the terror immediately. Of course, come Obama and... Yep.
You're like in Israel.
Yeah, so let's happen this. Now Rabbi Schreiber crying to Hashem, Khatam Sofer, by the way, he wrote amazing books. And they got caught, now they're about to kill him. So he goes to trial. Now, many years passed. So the judge there and all the military, you know, and all the attorneys and this and that. So the judge looked at him and said, what's your name? He says, you know, Rabbi Moshe Schreiber. So the judge looked at him and said to everybody, please, everybody leave the court. I need to talk to him to get the truth. Leave, everybody now. He's the head. It's like, imagine like the top judge of the military brass. So everybody leaves. He looks at him and says, Rabbi, do you remember me? The rabbi says, no. It's been like almost...
I'm the one that you...
He says, remember the soldier you taught the Torah, the oral Torah, the Jewish law? Because of you, I became the #1 judge in my country. I was, the chokhmah you gave me, the wisdom through the Torah, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to help you escape.
Wow.
And the judge made him, saved his life. And he understood why Hashem sent him to teach Torah.
Wow. That's a nice
This is the
story.
Khatam Sofer. Whenever you have a chance, look him up. He's amazing. So the Torah says that, you know, like Henry just says, that, you know, it's God forbid, when you say Lashon Hara, you actually go do against 3 things, which is Avodah Zarah, Shfichut Damim, Vegilui Arayot. Those are the 3 things that you're now allowed to live for. If somebody says work and idle, you know, come and, you know, bow to Jesus or whatever. No, you have to die for. If somebody says Gilui Arayot, sleep with another woman that's not yours, no, you should die for. If somebody says to you, come and murder somebody, shfichut damim, say no, die for it. Lashon hara is above all this.
Wow.
Above all this. He says, you know, when you do Lashon hara, is one of the hardest things to ever come back from. It's impossible.
Lashon Hara is like the rabbi will give. You pick up a handful of sand.
Yeah.
In Torah.
Go pick it.
That's the Lashon Hara.
You know,
Picking up the age again. Can you find it?
you know why we have to bring tziporim, you know, when we do Lashon Hara, in order to atone for it and ask forgiveness to people and all that, then you have to bring 2 birds to the Migdash. One, you have to slaughter, pluck his head. And one you release with the blood of the other bird. The Gemara says, why do you have to do this? It says, tzipor is the one bird that, you know, chirps, flies everywhere. A bird, right?
Yeah.
Flies everywhere. That's how your Lashon Hara can fly all over the world.
Yeah.
Today you can do Lashon Hara on WhatsApp, the whole world learns it.
Exactly.
Facebook or whatever, right?
Instagram.
So it says really the tzipor is to tell everybody, look, this guy did Lashon Hara. Right? It goes chirps everywhere in the world.
אבל מה בדיוק, איך אתה מגדיר בדיוק לשון הרע הזה? כשאתה מדבר על מישהו למשל.
אסור אפילו להגיד דברים טובים.
גם לא.
מה זאת אומרת? כן. סתם לדוגמה. איך עושים לשון הרע טוב? לא, אז בוא נסביר לך. בוא נגיד, אני בא ואני אומר, בואנה שמואל הזה בחור טוב, חבל, אבל, אתה יודע, הוא עושה ככה.
אבל זה לא במקום.
זהו, זה הלשון הרע. זה הפתח של לשון. Let's say you come, you say, how do you, what's Lashon Hara? Lashon Hara, if you tell even something that somebody did bad, you're not allowed to tell anybody.
No.
Quiet.
Keep it
Nothing.
quiet.
Everybody's doing Lashon Hara every day.
That's not true.
What else they have to
Come
talk about?
with me. We don't do Lashon Hara. We learn Torah, we laugh, we eat, we talk, you know. The Lashon Hara, what's Lashon? Lashon in Hebrew is noshel. Whatever you speak, you lose.
Yeah.
You lose your life. Lashon Hara is so bad that let's say somebody, you know, even somebody told you something, you're not allowed to speak to anybody about it. You're not allowed to listen, right?
Oh, no,
Now, there is like a way, we said, let's say you want to say, you know, something not so bad, but you want to say something. You know, there's many tzaddikim that always come and say, oh, this guy is so great, but amazing, but he does this. And this is a huge Lashon Hara. You know, Miriam, Achot Moshe, right? Miriam, you know what she said? She never said Lashon Hara. She just said, why Moshe left Tzipora?
Right.
She felt bad for Tzipora. She goes, I'm a prophet, I didn't leave my husband. Aharon is a prophet, didn't leave his wife. Why Moshe left his wife? Because she felt so bad for Tzipora. But even then, not allowed. She was 7 days outside of the camp.
Yeah, she has the question.
So Lashon Hara, you have to be very, very, very careful. Always, you don't have to say the name even.
But if you say only something good, it's okay.
That's good, yeah. Lefargen. Yes. Okay, lefargen is a mitzvah. You know, the Masechet Avot says, Kol ben adam ro'eh oto b'zechut, that he's a zoche. And always be happy for your friends. איזה הוא עשיר? חלקו של מי?
של החבר שלו.
שלו. חלקו שלו.
When people go to
So, you know, in Israel, the Jews, in the Jewish law, you don't go to a therapist. You're not allowed.
You're not allowed.
No, you have to go only to a rabbi.
Well, somebody wants to kill himself.
Yes.
You gotta go to therapist.
Yeah, you go to a rabbi. No. Therapist will help you kill yourself faster. Because what the therapist says, what the first thing therapist says, what do you think?
Don't go to therapy.
You know, the therapist, I want you to know something. I know a lot of therapists that come to my classes in different places. They usually have the most problems.
Yeah.
Yes, okay?
They need
To
therapy.
hear all the problems already.
I want you to think for a
They have
second.
to listen to his mother, to his...
You know, Freud, you heard of Freud?
Yeah.
Sigmund Freud.
No, I didn't hear.
So he was a Jewish, the son of a rabbi. He used to be a kולל. He was to be a avrech.
Okay.
Yeah, his father was a big rabbi. And, you know, he left Hashem. But he never told anybody that all his knowledge came from the Gemara. He translated the Gemara to German. And he had a hidden wall in his house. When he died, his assistant says, I want you to know, here's all the secrets of, it's from the Gemara.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what Freud did is basically took God out of the equation. So let's talk to people. In the old days, you had a problem, anything, even sickness. You go to the Kohen. The Kohen, there was no doctors. To speak to a stranger, right? A psychologist is a stranger that have more problem than you. Because for somebody who want to listen to all day to problem is not normal.
Yeah.
לא נכון, זה לא אמיתי.
My brother-in-law.
What did they tell you? The first thing you said, I said, okay, what do you think? Right? They always say, what do you think?
Yeah, my brother-in-law is psychologist.
Yes. Does he want to talk about it?
So his wife always make fun of him. She said that when people talk to him about their spy, he falls asleep.
Yeah.
And then he woke up and said, so what do you think?
Yes.
Kevin.
That's right.
Yes, Kevin is, Kevin was the synagogue.
You know, the first 3 pasukim in our parasha has 39 words in them. Okay, against the 39 melachot of Shabbat. It says that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says to gather the people of Israel in order to really build a Mishkan. But I want you to know that the Shabbat is more important even than my Mishkan, right? We said that in the beginning.
Right.
This Mishkan, by the way, was done with such love that it stood 39 years in the desert. Okay. Then they brought him, Yoshua brought him to Israel. He was 441 years in Israel. No, he actually went to in Shiloh.
Where's Shiloh?
No, the Mishkan, the tabernacle.
Where is Shiloh?
Shiloh is outside of Yerushalayim. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Shiloh, okay. Shiloh, 369 years. Then in the Gilgal, 14 years. In Giv'on, 40 years. 14 in Gilgal, 40.
The same Mishkan.
Same Mishkan. In Giv'on, 40 years. And Nov, Vayira Kohanim, 13 years. 480 years the Mishkan stood until Shlomo HaMelech built the Mokdש.
And this Mishkan, they would fold it and go.
Yes. You know, the Mishkan took...
Shlomo HaMelech hid it now.
No, yeah, some of the parts of that went to the
We don't
Mokdש.
know where it is.
Yes. Moshe, Shlomo
No, they had the
HaMelech.
menorah and
They
all
had
this,
also
no?
the Mishkan. Yes, because the Mishkan was ready in 70 days. Just so you know, from Sukkot to Hanukkah.
Oh, to build it. the
To
first time.
everything. To do the first
to
time.
make it, I'm
To
sorry,
make it, to build it, to erect it. Moshe Rabbeinu, Hanukkah, put the menorah. Hanukkah, Kafhei, in Kislev. That's why we have Hanukkah every year. The miracle of Hanukkah, because the menorah stood on the 25th of Kislev. 70 days from Sukkot to Hanukkah. That's how long it took. Then it has to Moshe, basically, now if it's ready, why don't you start? So no, it has to be Chodesh Nisan. Nisan, Rosh HaChodashim Lachem. This is the first, because he came out of, but before Nisan, 8 days, Yemei HaMiluim. Moshe was really the Kohen Gadol for 8 days to teach everybody how to do. He erected every day, folded, how to do the korbanot, where to pour this. There was 2 Mizbeach Nechoshet and Mizbeach Zahav, the altar of gold and the altar of the copper. The copper, you do everything with the korbanot, and the gold one, the Pitum HaKetoret, you do the incense twice a day. Moshe Rabbeinu for 8 days taught them everything before the grand opening of Aleph Ben Nisan. Aleph Ben Nisan, they erected, this is really the Mishkan, first day. What happened on Aleph Ben Nisan? The sons of Aaron will die that night. Why? Because they went in without the bells. They wanted to do the tikkun of the wine.
Yeah.
They say, they have 2 kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the names of our own kids? Nadav and Avihu. Avihu is Adam HaRishon, Nadav is Noach. They both sinned with wine. They got drunk to do the tikkun of the Noach and
Was his
Adam.
name לא אותה נשמה?
No, Chatzi Neshama.
How old were they when they?
Very, very young, in their 20s. So it says something amazing. It says that Kadosh Baruch Hu, when he asked the people to bring those 13 items, there is what we call Techelet, there is Argaman, Tolat, and Shani. 4 things out of the 13. Techelet is Tachlit Chayecha. You know what's Techelet? Is Torah, Kol, Taf, right? They're Taf, and Kol. Your whole life should be within the Torah. The Tachlit of your life, the essence of your life. Argaman is red, is your blood, right? Is Yetzer Hara. Adam, if you look at America has Uncle Sam, right? Red, come to war, I need you. Samael, Samech Mem. And then Tolat, what's a worm? At the end, who's going to eat your body? Your own worms that's in your stomach. When you die, they eat you. Right? And the last thing, Hashani, is learn from it. Lishnot, Mishnah, right? We learn from. It says, אלה חיי העולם הזה וחיי העולם הבא. So בעזרת השם, אנחנו באים עכשיו, last parasha next week will be the end of the book of Shemot. So they say whoever learn always have to grow. You cannot learn and not grow. You cannot be stagnant, right? You come to classes, you have to do something better tomorrow. Whatever is easy for you. Choose something that you haven't done before. נטילת ידיים, 3 seconds. You get up, מודה אני, נכון? You sit on your bed. You don't have... Yeah, no, do bracha on the food. But נטילת ידיים, first thing in the morning, you go שתי וערב. 1, 3 times.
The left to the right.
You take the left, you serve the right. Left, serve right. נכון? And then 1 on the right, take the right on the left. 3 times. But full, you have to do everything.
Not 3. It's like 1 and 1, 1 and 1, 1 and 1.
6, 3 and 3.
No, but not 1, 2, 3 with the
No,
same
that's for bread. When you do motzi, you do 1, 2, 3. But for the
You
bathroom,
change the hands. Right?
yes, left serves right first time.
That's
Then
why
right,
there
left.
is a 2 handles.
Yes. If you don't have one, I'll give you one. Okay, I'll bring you one tomorrow. Be'ezrat Hashem. So it says this, the asiyah of the Mishkan is to do. Right? When we do naaseh v'nishma. When we do something, we hear good news. So I wish all of you, Be'ezrat Hashem, to always do and grow. Thank you so much. Please share the class with everybody. God bless you.
I'm surprised my wife didn't call me.
Now, my wife called me too. So here.